Hey there, good evening everybody. Welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So here we are on the Forward Champion. So we had a victor on the last challenge, and it was Supertramp. Didn't really come as a huge surprise. I would have had a hard time because I really love that Black Sabbath album a lot. It's such a fantastic album, but I can understand the people watching this are looking more for prog, so they try to stay with prog a little bit more, and so this album is obviously a lot more proggy than that one. So Supertramp now has defeated 2 albums. I'm trying to figure out where to hold it. I think we'll hold it over here, and the second album, actually we'll hold that over here. Yeah. So the second album, or the challenger for this week is Genesis Trespass. Much more progressive than the other 2 albums. I'm curious to see if this album has enough gusto to beat this album. I like them both. I do. There's a split in hairs here. Sometimes I prefer this Supertramp album a lot, and other times I like this. This to me is a very underrated Genesis album. Doesn't get enough attention, doesn't get its due, because it was the first one, and there's no Phil Collins on this, of course, and no Steve Hackett at this point too, so people think it's a weaker album, and in some ways I guess it is, but musically and track wise I think it's as good as almost any other Genesis album. So we're going to talk first about the challenger, Genesis Trespass. 6 tracks on this album. I'll need my glasses because I don't see too well. So you got 6 tracks on this album. So this album came out in 1970. It's the actual second Genesis album. The first one I don't really count because it's completely different. Doesn't sound anything like Genesis. So to me this is really the first Genesis album. I like the album. I like this look they have on the album. I think there's a little bit of every song on this album cover. But anyways, you got Looking for Someone. I like the track. I think it might be the weakest track on this album. Visions for Angels is the other one. But those 2 are the only 2 that are kind of okay. They're okay songs. White Mountain, fantastic track. Stagnation, to me, is the underrated great track on this album. So Genesis-y, like it's got that kind of subdued sound. It to me it kind of paints the flavor for the entire album. Dusk, of course, I also like, and then The Knife, of course, which is one of the great legendary Genesis tracks of all time, and probably the first really big song that they put out. Big in the sense that it's classic. I don't think any of this stuff actually made the radio play, but this is a fantastic album. Really strong. The beginning of that real Genesis sounding stuff that would come much later and stronger with some of their other albums, but still, nevertheless, this is a borderline masterpiece. I haven't given it masterpiece status yet, but it definitely deserves to be there. I'm making a list of masterpiece albums to add to my masterpiece collection. I've got about 12, and I'm going to probably choose about 4 or 5 of them again to add to my list, and this is definitely one of those ones on that possibility. Okay, and the champion, Crime of the Century. Great album cover. This is one of those album covers people will know immediately when they see it. Every track on here is legendary and great. School, Bloody Well Right, Asylum, Dreamer, all these songs, Crime of the Century, are all played on rock radio station. This is, some people say this is their magnus opus, their best album. Yeah, it depends on what you like. This definitely is their best progressive album, but I think Breakfast in America might give it a challenge for the best overall album. But you got Hide in Your Shell, a very underrated but great deep cut. Asylum, I love that track a lot. Rudy, one of Davies' best vocal performances. And Crime of the Century, I think, is just a great ending to a fantastic album. You know, I'm not really sure why they're all standing there with hardly anything on, looking at the stars, but maybe I'm missing something here. Anyways, this was produced by Ken Scott and Supertramp. So there you have it. There it is. They're the champion, current champion, Supertramp's Crime of the Century, facing Genesis Trespass. Who's going to be the champ? You vote. Put your votes below. Who do you think is the better of the two albums? Which one should come out the winner in this battle here? Supertramp's Crime of the Century or Trespass by Genesis? You got 2 weeks to vote, and we will see who comes up winning the battle. I think this may be the toughest battle so far, because you have two pretty progressive albums here on a progressive rock channel. So let me know what you think, and we will see you soon. So please hit the like button, subscribe on the side, leave your comments, please leave your vote below. I won't be voting on this, I'm just counting votes. Some people's votes will show up, and then for some reason they don't show up on the list below, but I keep track of them all anyways. So just let me know, and then we go forward with another forward champion for the following week. So take care and have yourself a good day, good evening, and bye.